Mendocino County. And this is where your brother should have been. He should have been in Mendocino County because Norm Verroman legalized medical use of marijuana. And all you need is a doctor to write a prescription, said this person needs medical. You went to the DA's office, he wrote you a certificate, and you go got your marijuana. It was free.
Wow.
Or it wasn't free, but I mean, there was no...
It was legal.
It was legal. There was no issue about it in Mendocino County. And it's marijuana is the #1 cash crop. The only thing Norm said is I can't stop the federal agents from flying in here and arresting people.
Yeah.
I don't have the authority.
Don't get me wrong. My brother had a drug problem with other drugs, in his past as well. But he needed rehabilitation, not to be murdered, and he was doing that on his own with the family and the help and stuff. And so I mean, it's a struggle for some of these men. It is a struggle, but it doesn't still give them the right to kill them. Just because you think, oh, well, this person, a drug problem, even if they say he was, the worst person doesn't deserve that. What they did to him, they tortured him, they murdered him, they treated him like an animal in the whole video.
Maybe we can get Officer John Moody employed with Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department, and when we go to arrest our former district attorney, Tom Snedden, he can suspect that former DA Tom Snedden has a knife on him. Maybe he'll react the same way.
Right.
Because I would like to see Tom Snedden indicted for what he did to Michael Jackson. It was completely innocent. I was at the trial the entire 5 months. They didn't have a sliver of evidence. It was all fabricated and falsely created evidence. Falsely created by the prosecutors.
Oh my gosh.
And I would like to see him sitting in prison. Mike Nifong is the prosecutor who did the lacrosse team prosecution. Even when it was clear the young men were innocent, and he went ahead to prosecute them anyway until pressure was brought. He's been disbarred, and as of 4 or 5 months ago, they are talking about bringing criminal charges against him, even though it's years back. When you commit fraud on the court, that stops the statute of limitations from running. But watching that tape, I think we've watched that tape enough. I don't think I can bear to see it again.
The sad thing is that we're kind of blessed to have this tape, because there's so many families that are in the same, situation, and their loved ones have been murdered that don't have a video. But even with our video, we're still fighting a case where this should be enough to, indict him, and it's not. And it's just sad because we have this, but there's so many other cases and so many other families that are going through this that don't have no proof. And
so, Reyna, what's the solution? Your district attorney has absolutely lied, saying this was a justifiable killing. It wasn't. Any reasonable person. I'm not Latino. I've never been a gangbanger. I don't, have a shaved head. I'm not, part of the neo-Nazi group. But I can look at that and I can say that guy reacted way too fast. He didn't give him a chance to just get untangled from his seatbelt and stand up. He didn't even say, lay down on the ground. He just blasted him. I didn't hear him say, lay down on the ground.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
He just got up, bam, 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 bam.
He says, put your hands up, put your hands up. And, I don't know what the answer is. I mean,
I think I have an answer for you. And this is important, Reyna, because it not just applies for you, it applies for everybody. Right now, when the district attorney brings charges, he's supposed to have an affidavit written on a piece of paper. Someone handwrites or types out and signs under penalty of perjury. Reyna came to my house and she ripped my eyelashes off my face and did me great harm. Okay? Then he takes it to a grand jury and says, here's the witness. Reyna or Jane Doe went and did this terrible thing, and then the grand jury issues what they call a true bill of indictment, and then the DA gives it to the sheriff, and then the sheriff goes out and makes the arrest. And when he makes the arrest, he goes to Reyna or Jane Doe and says, here's your arrest warrant, and attaches the affidavit of what you did wrong. So you know at the moment of the arrest, at that moment you have a piece of paper that tells you exactly why you're being arrested. That almost never happens anymore.
No.
They just grab you, you're under arrest. They don't show you any affidavit or anything. This is Nazi-like, and the cops are being trained to be like Nazi soldiers taking Jews off to the... So the solution is, and most people don't know this, the DA is not supposed to run the grand jury.
No, he's not.
Did you know that? Grand juries are supposed to be spontaneous. And you could go back to Montana and find 25 solid citizens that knew your brother, form your own grand jury. 25 solid citizens, not convicted of crimes, and you could testify. Your brother's wife could testify. She saw them, John Mooney, and aiding and abetting the murder of your brother gets those other cops pulled in for murder too. And your grand jury, a We the People grand jury, made up of your neighbors or people that knew Ernest, watches that tape and makes their own decision. Is this murder? Is it manslaughter? Or is it involuntary manslaughter? Or is it second-degree murder? Or was it first-degree premeditated? Your grand jury can do this, and they can still do it, Reyna.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You can still go back to your county, San Joaquin County, and publish an article in the newspaper. We are forming a grand jury to indict Officer
Wow.
Mooney.
I didn't know that.
You can do it even now. The statute of limitations has not run on murder. No. There is no statute of limitations on murder.
And then who do we take that to?
What you do, Reyna, is you meet in secret. You gather 25 people. They can't all be like your brother's best friend, your brother's former scoutmaster,
Citizens from.
But they got to be citizens of the community. They may have known your brother, maybe they didn't know your brother, but you got to get them willing to come together. 25 of them. You need 23 plus 2 alternates in case somebody gets sick. They come together. They meet in secret. You don't tell your district attorney of San Joaquin County. You don't tell anybody. You meet in secret. You vote to elect a chairman. You bring in a court reporter or you bring in an electronic recording device. It doesn't have to be video. It could be just audio. You call your witness in. Your foreman of the grand jury swears in the witness, or he has the court reporter swear them in, or you have a secretary of the grand jury swear them in to tell the truth under penalty of perjury. Then they give the facts, and I think you could call your brother's wife. This is what she saw. Here's the video. You get this on the record. Then the 25 vote. They look at the evidence, and they vote to indict. If they indict, they issue what's called a true bill of indictment, and they attach the complaint filed by your brother's wife. They take this and they certify it. The foreman of the grand jury has to sign it. I believe you have to have 2 other members sign it. They vote on it. It's got to be a majority vote. I don't think it has to be 100%, but it has to be a majority vote to indict. You might want to check on that detail. Your lawyer could tell you, but if he's a crummy lawyer like most of them are, he probably won't tell you. The lawyers do not want to lose control of this system. But it was never meant to be run by lawyers. They didn't even have bar associations 100 years ago. And 150 years ago, all the judges were elected. Teresa could have been a judge. You could have been a judge. You didn't have to go to law school.
Exactly.
One of the first Supreme Court justices of the U.S. Supreme Court Supreme Court of the United States was appointed. And as soon as he got his appointment, he took a law book and he spent 2 weeks reading a law book, and he went and sat as a Supreme Court justice with 2 weeks of reading the law.
Wow.
2 weeks. And he gave some of the best decisions. They referred back to his decisions for the next 150, 180 years.
Wow.
So we, the people, can form our own grand jury. You can still do it. The statute of limitations is not run, and you can indict Officer John Mooney. You can indict every officer that was with him. You can indict his watch commander. You can indict his supervisor and everybody else who covered up. You can indict the district attorney for aiding and abetting in the cover-up of a murder. Just remember, you have to have evidence. You have to have a recording device. And the reason is because if the sheriff does arrest John Mooney, the sheriff, not the chief of police, if the sheriff does arrest him, he gets a lawyer, and the first thing he's going to demand is to see your affidavit, and he's going to want to see all the evidence that was used to get him indicted. That's the first, and he's entitled to that. But you can't indict him. Now the question becomes, Reyna, can you get 25 solid citizens in your county, doesn't have to be your city, in your county, that will come together, meet in secret? They always meet in secret, even the one the DA does. They don't say, hey, come watch the grand jury. We're having a grand jury meeting. We're going to indict Teresa here. You know, they don't say, everybody come watch. No, it's always done in secret. You can have a we the people, and this is the way it used to be done. And then people got lazy about it. They got busy making money in businesses, and they said, oh, let's just have a district attorney do it. Even the district attorney's job, the prosecutor, used to be from among the people.
Yes, it did.
And all this has been suppressed and hidden from us. You can still get justice for your brother. You do not need that scumbag district attorney of San Joaquin to decide anything. You can indict him as aiding and abetting the murder of your brother. And you got, I can see in the video, you got one witness, you got your brother's wife.
There's actually 2 more in the car.
Yeah.
So you got witnesses, they meet, and bingo, things start to happen. Now the critical point is, who's your sheriff for San Joaquin?
You know, I don't even know who it is now.
I would find out.
Yeah, they just changed it.
I'd make it a point to find out. And I'd go talk to him. If we bring you a legitimate indictment, will you arrest the DA? Will you arrest all these cops, not just John Mooney, but all of them that assisted? Will you make the arrest? And if he says no, you know what you want to do at the next sheriff's election, don't you? Because you know what you can do. If you have an indictment and there's no arrest and no trial, you can wait till the next sheriff and you can form another grand jury. You can come back again and again until you get a sheriff that will arrest them. All the power in this county, in your county, all across this land of 50 nations that we call the United States, it's built on accountability, and it starts at this level, the county level. The sheriff is not the DA. And in some states, the sheriff is not even the coroner. And I wish that was true in California. In other states, the coroner is elected separately for the sheriff, because if the coroner looks at something and says, oh my God, I think the cops killed this guy. You don't want the coroner to also be the sheriff, because the sheriff coroner's, and that's what happened to Andrea Nelson's 20-year-old beautiful daughter, her only child, murdered in Orange County. January